David's Atonement by Ginzberg. All these sufferings did not suffice to atone for David's sin. God once said to him, "How much longer shall this sin be hidden in thy hand and remain unatoned? On thy account the priestly city of Nob was destroyed. 109 On thy account Dog the Edomite was cast out of the communion of the pious, and on thy account Saul and his 3 sons were slain. What dost thou desire now, that thy house should perish, or that thou thyself shouldst be delivered into the hands of thine enemies?" David chose the latter doom. It happened one day when he was hunting, Satan in the guise of a deer enticed him further and further into the very territory of the Philistines, where he was recognized by Ishbi the giant, the brother of Goliath, his adversary. Desirous of avenging his brother, he seized David and cast him into a winepress, where the king would have suffered a torturous end, if by a miracle the earth beneath him had not begun to sink, and so saved him from instantaneous death. His plight, however, remained desperate, and it required a second miracle to rescue him. In that hour Abishai, the cousin of David, was preparing for the advent of the Sabbath, for the king's misfortune happened on Friday as the Sabbath was about to come in. When Abishai poured out water to wash himself, he suddenly caught sight of drops of blood in it. Then he was startled by a dove that came to him plucking out her plumes, and moaning and wailing. Abishai exclaimed, "The dove is the symbol of the people of Israel. It cannot be but that David, the king of Israel, is in distress." Not finding the king at home, he was confirmed in his fears, and he determined to go on a search for David on the swiftest animal at his command, the king's own saddle beast. But first he had to obtain the permission of the sages to mount the animal ridden by the king, for the law forbids a subject to avail himself of things set aside for the personal use of a king. Only the impending danger could justify the exception made in this case. Scarcely had Abishai mounted the king's animal when he found himself in the land of the Philistines, for the earth had contracted miraculously. He met Orpah, the mother of the 4 giant sons. She was about to kill him, but he anticipated the blow and slew her. Ishbi, seeing that he now had 2 opponents, stuck his lance into the ground and hurled David up in the air, in the expectation that when he fell he would be transfixed by the lance. At that moment Abishai appeared, and by pronouncing the name of God he kept David suspended twixt heaven and earth. Abishai questioned David how such evil plight had overtaken him, and David told him of his conversation with God, and how he himself had chosen to fall into the hands of the enemy, rather than permit the ruin of his house. Abishai replied, "Reverse thy prayer, plead for thyself, and not for thy descendants. Let thy children sell wax, and do thou not afflict thyself about their destiny." The 2 men joined their prayers and pleaded with God to avert David's threatening doom. Abishai again uttered the name of God, and David dropped to earth uninjured. Now both of them ran away swiftly, pursued by Ishbi. When the giant heard of his mother's death, his strength forsook him, and he was slain by David and Abishai. 110.